Be on your best behavior, all of you, and you too, little Ellie, be on your best behavior because this is being recorded. And I'll let it take away Cynthia.
Thank you, Micah. Good morning, everyone. Cynthia Stillman from ChooseHome Riverside. Thank you for sharing, about 15 minutes of your morning with me. So I would like to ask you all first, just by a show of hands, and there's no wrong answer, but I'm really interested in who has heard of ChooseHome Riverside, if you just raise your hand. Okay, most of you. And who can explain what ChooseHome Riverside is? There you go. Really glad. Yeah, Mike's got kind of a maybe, but yeah, this is. I know perhaps we've met with you at some time in the past, but I think the reality is that what we do, frankly, given COVID, is more important now than ever. And, you know, Micah said you're not getting a lot of leads per se. My business is busier than ever. So I think there's a real opportunity for us to work together right now. And I'm going to walk you through just a really high-level overview of what we do and how I think we can really support each other in that. So I'm going to share my screen. My apologies to Mike, who's driving. Don't look at it.
I'm just sitting still.
Because it's being recorded. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So in the next 10 minutes, since I've been given a tight timeline here, I'd like to give you guys really a high-level overview of what ChooseHome Riverside is and what it isn't. I hope that I can give you a high-level understanding of who it really is for, who we can identify that would be a great mutual prospect for us, why and how we should work together, and then answer as many of your questions as I have time for. So ChooseHome Riverside is a membership-based program for healthy, active, older adults age 60 plus who really want to be in charge of where and how they age. So these are really planners and people who are accustomed to having been sort of large in charge their entire professional career in many cases. You can think of ChooseHome Riverside as a retirement community that comes to you. This is probably the most important bullet on any of these slides. So if you think about any of your clients who want to downsize and move into a continuing care retirement community, right? Patriots Colony or Williamsburg Landing, they're going to move in all probability at the independent level. And then as their needs change, they are counting on that community to handle, whether it's assisted living or nursing or memory care, they're counting on that community to handle their needs as their needs evolve, but still keep them in place in that one community. So ChooseHome does all those things for our members, but we provide the services to them in their home, wherever they call home, the place of their choosing. So it's not necessary that they move into a bricks and mortar retirement community. And in fact, it's our goal to keep our members safe and comfortable and as healthy as possible for as long as possible as they age. The key to our program is 24/7 access to what we call a personal services coordinator. So many of you have probably heard of concierge medical care. This is essentially the same thing on the long-term care side. So you become a ChooseHome member and you're partnered with a care coordinator who is yours from the beginning to create your your long-term care plan, your vision, and yours to call 24/7 whenever you have any need, health or safety related. And then finally, we provide options for financial protection against the cost of care. So this is long-term care insurance. Some of you may have heard of it or may have purchased it. We also have it available as an option through our program. Again, a retirement community that comes to you. If you take only one thing away from this presentation, I think it's really important to know a retirement community that comes to you. So I said that the personal services coordinator was really the heart and soul of our program, and they truly are. They partner with our members from day one, and initially they begin to work on their health and wellness and assisting them with the management of any chronic diseases. But then their role evolves, right, as our members age and as their needs change. As I said, it's 24/7 access. one call for every health and safety related need, care management need, including home maintenance. So you can actually use ChooseHome to help stay longer, if not forever, in either your larger home or a home that you decide to downsize to as an alternative to moving into a continuing care retirement community. Now, as our members begin to age and begin to need services, that personal services coordinator is responsible for scheduling, managing, and overseeing any home-based services or facility-based care as needed. And they are responsible always for advocating for the best interests of our members. We work with the skilled medical care providers to ensure smooth transitions. Many of you know how difficult it is or can be difficult to work with the medical system when you're well or relatively well. So imagine how difficult it can be as we age. Importantly, we work with our members to identify the right time to move. I was on a call just immediately prior to this. We're working with a member now who all of a sudden things have become too difficult for her. And her children have called us saying, you know, we really need mom to move. We obviously cannot force our members to move, but we start to really advocate for a move when we think it is in our members' best interests. Sometimes that move means from a larger home to a smaller home, and sometimes that move does mean if a member is willing from a larger home to an assisted living community. And we, of course, support the families when our members are in need of or receiving services. So really quickly to give you guys sort of a graphic portrayal of how this works, right? I think this slide kind of helps to put the pieces together. Our members join when they're living independently at their home. We start to work with them to maintain a high baseline of health, keeping them as healthy and safe and active for as long as possible. But we begin proactively planning their long-term care with them. As their needs change, we begin to provide all the services and supports they need to remain independent. Often that begins with transportation. If they need in-home care services, we find that care, we find the best quality care, we schedule it, we pay for it up to the plan level that they've chosen, and we oversee that care to ensure that their needs are met to their expectations. If services are ever needed outside the home, we provide priority access to 4 of the best long-term care facilities on the peninsula. If our members need facility-based care and it is their goal to move back to their home, we will work with them and advocate for them to ensure that that move is able to happen. And then finally, most importantly, right, if you see that little house just changed colors, everything that we do is completely portable. So ChooseHome is truly an alternative to either remaining in your big home, which may have become overwhelming, or moving into a retirement community where many of our members are now saying, I'm not so sure I want to go to. But you can take ChooseHome with you to the beach. If you have a house at the beach 6 months a year, you can take ChooseHome with you to a smaller home. If you don't want to live in the house, the 6,000 square foot house with 3 flights of stairs, but you want to find a single level 2,000 square foot home in Williamsburg and be supported there for the rest of your life. So ChooseHome is not a home care agency. ChooseHome is not someone you call when you break your hip and you need care in your home. We are a membership-based program with a medical requirement. All of our members are healthy and active when they join. I'm 58, so I'm not quite yet eligible to join, but my husband is 72 and he has applied. We hope they'll take him. So we are not a program for older adults who are in need of services. We're not a long-term care insurance company, though we do provide protection against the long-term costs of care. And we're not offered outside the peninsula yet. So this program that we're talking about is currently restricted to primarily the areas which I suspect all of you serve. Our members tend to be very well educated. They're thoughtful planners. They're travelers, hobbyists, retired professionals. The majority of them actually already have long-term care insurance, and they are truly attracted to the flexibility of our program because they recognize this doesn't lock me in. I can join it and then move wherever and whenever I want to. And ChooseHome will support me and help keep me safe wherever I want to be. So these are just 3 of our members. Generally, I tell a little bit about their stories, but I think the one thing you can see that they have in common is that they really want flexibility in where they live. They don't necessarily want to be locked into moving to into a certain retirement community, paying a lot of money to move into a retirement community that they'll never get back if they change their minds and decide they want to leave. And it's not that our members, by the way, don't live in retirement communities. Some of our members do, either when they join or ultimately they decide they want to move there. But the bottom line is that we're an alternative. You might decide that you at some point want to move into independent living, but you don't have to. You can remain in your home, wherever that home is, safely for the rest of your life with the supports that we provide. So why work together? Well, first, we're working with the same people, I suspect, in many cases. So it's something that we probably always should have been doing. But the reason I think to really think about doing it now is that COVID has made aging in place more appealing, right? Certainly, I see that in my business. But aging in place does not mean remaining in place. In fact, we do not necessarily want our members staying in a house that is overwhelming for them. We know that contributes to some safety issues. So aging in place does mean right sizing, right? But it does not necessarily mean any more moving into a retirement community, which I think you guys have probably all seen. And that can probably account for the lead situation that Micah has experienced. So I really feel that working together is an opportunity for us to support the older adults in our community by providing them this really flexible option for their long-term care planning, giving them the ability to right-size their home and remain in their home safely for as long as they want to be there. And together we can make it a lighter lift for our members. You know, we find real estate needs, but obviously we're not a real estate company. So I've been working with Micah and had a good conversation with Greg about how you are the experts in this field. So we would be dependent upon you to provide really a full suite of services to our members and to my prospects who want to move. Because not only do I find these needs in the members that I work with, right, but I meet with, you know, about 50 prospects each month, many of whom may have real estate needs, but really don't know where to turn. So we want to make working together super, super easy. And if I can sum up how to work together, I think Micah and I would just raise our hands, right? So I will call Micah when I identify real estate referral needs. So I will give them to Micah and Micah will be responsible for communicating those. I will provide, and hopefully have this morning provided you guys with some talking points. I also have a one-sheeter collateral for you. Again, the real talking point is that, you know, ChooseHome is a retirement community that comes to you. It's a virtual continuing care retirement community. It's an alternative, or it can be an alternative to moving into one of our wonderful CCRCs, which you may ultimately want to do, but you don't have to do it now. I will be reliant upon you to identify potential prospects for ChooseHome. You're always welcome to ask if ChooseHome can give them a call. If they are unwilling to take a call, certainly ask if they're willing to be sent some information. I'll do that. And provide that contact information to Micah. So Micah will be responsible to getting it to me. So truly this is a one-stop shopping. I'll call Micah and with any leads, and if you will please provide Micah with that information as well. That way we can ensure that we're really closing all our loops in working together. So that is the end of my slides. Now is your opportunity to ask some questions. I guess first and foremost, I'd like to ask you guys, does that make sense? Do you feel you understand a little bit more about ChooseHome now than you did at the beginning of this presentation?
See a lot of nods.
Okay, so Andrea, I see you're off mute, so I'll just ask you, if there were one thing that you felt you needed to know about ChooseHome, or an important bullet that you could share with one of your clients, what would it be?
Could you ask that again? Sorry, I had my headphones in and I just took them out.
No worries. If there were one, like one bullet, one snippet of information you could share with a client about ChooseHome that would help them to understand what the program was, what do you think that would be?
I think the opportunity to control your living environment with help. I mean, a lot of people I deal with, their family is not in this area, right? So they're limited when they get to a point that they need to move or need more care. So I think that that's really providing a great service for where we are in our community right now.
So you get extra credit for that answer, because I was thinking a retirement community that comes to you, but you went above and beyond, because a lot of our members truly are looking for control. And some of our members actually moved farther away from their children for retirement, because they're like, we've been in control all our lives, and at no point ever do we want our children to start making our decisions for us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, but they're happy to partner with us, right, as this expert in long-term care, to be their advocate, provide the support, work and consult with the children, of course, but they don't want to give all the control that they've had all their life back over to their kids. So I love that. That's a wonderful answer. Thank you. I really appreciate it. So what questions you guys have for me?
Yes, the immediate question, excuse me, that I have is, I've seen all your bullet points. It helps me understand what your company does. If you were to be asked by an independent senior of more than 60 years that has no health concerns at this point, they're used to being independent, and I said, could I have ChooseHome give you a call? What if they said to me, and you've probably been asked this question before, well, why should I have them call me? What would be like a one sentence thing that you would tell them?
You know, and I hear that objection a lot, like, I'm healthy, I don't need this. Things change very quickly. Pandemic has been a prime example of that. I work with people regularly, Michael, who meet with me. No one ever meets with me and says, oh, you know, I hate that program. They're like, okay, that's good. I don't need it now. And many times, in fact, it happens once a week, I get a call back from someone that I might have met with 6 months ago or a year ago, and all of a sudden someone has a cancer diagnosis or a cognitive impairment diagnosis. And then they want to have the conversation about joining ChooseHome, and it's a different conversation then. And sometimes it's heartbreaking. I met with a woman whose husband has a diagnosis of cognitive impairment, and I walked her through our financial benefits, and she said, wait, and he doesn't qualify. So now we're trying to put together a plan for her. She's like, wait, are you telling me that ChooseHome would be paying $250 a day for Williamsburg Landing adult daycare if we had joined in time? I said, yes, I am. And she said, I have to let go of that. So it's proactive planning. In the same way we plan for everything that we do in our entire lives that we want it to go well, right? If something's important to you, you plan for it. You don't sit back and leave it to chance. This is no different.
Okay.
That's a long answer, but you know, it's the number one objection I get, and it really sort of requires a conversation, and we talk about what their goals are, how to support them, and I tell stories about what I see every week, which is why my husband, who is relatively young and super healthy, is applying, because I'm like, you know what, this is not going to happen to us.
Right.
Great
Did that help?
Is what?
Did that help, Mike?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Matthew.
Yeah, so with my parents, we did put in place some long-term care insurance for them. How would you compare your proactive plan to long-term care?
So that is a terrific question. So 60% of our members, as you saw on the slides, already have some long-term care insurance. So many of them want like a supplement because they realize the amount of long-term care insurance they have is not enough. But they also realize that long-term care insurance, traditional long-term care insurance, is simply a financial solution to a problem that is bigger than financial. Because financial preparedness is one of the pillars of long-term care planning, but the other two are care coordination and advocacy. Who's going to do all the work? When I'm in need, right, I'm not going to be doing it for myself, and my spouse is aging right along with me. And my kids are probably far away or they don't have the expertise to do all the care coordination. And then the third pillar is access to quality care. So you may have heard that there are a lot of baby boomers. There are a lot of baby boomers, particularly in the Williamsburg area. And there is beginning to be a real issue with supply and demand. And so you can't just Google quality home care, right? You need to ensure that you're in queue and you're working with someone ideally who has the purchasing power to make sure that you are provided with a quality care provider when you need it. And we're Riverside Health System. So that's the other real big piece. So long-term care insurance is a good thing for sure, but it's only part of the puzzle. But I'm glad they have it. You know, that said, I think long-term care insurance is different. I'm kind of getting in the weeds, but like there are lots of hurdles for them to pay. You have a waiting period and you have to be significantly impaired. We pay from day one and you only have to be partially impaired because we're really different. We believe, let's put care in now, right? Be very proactive to hopefully prevent that catastrophic accident that's then going to be a really major care incident when you fall and break your hip.
Did that help?
Yes. Yeah.
Great question. Micah, this is clearly the all-star group that has gathered this morning.
Just slightly. Did anybody else have any other questions while she's here?
Yeah, I have one
Andrea.
more. Yep, Cynthia, how does it work? You know, a couple living in Williamsburg that choose to go with ChooseHome, and then 5 or 6 years from now, they are moving to North Carolina to be closer to family. How does that work with the program?
Terrific question. So you may remember that it was when we went through that slide, that house changed, right? In the end of that slide. So our program is portable. And what that means is this. We do require that our members live on the peninsula at the time that they join. But after they have been a member for a year, they can then take their program benefits anywhere in the continental United States. So their financial benefits, of course, that's easy. That follows right along with them. They also have 24/7 access to us. Even though they live in another state, we are still responsible for coordinating their care. So things will look a little different. Obviously, we're not going to be able to do it face-to-face, but it is still, you still have all the benefits, and we still have contractually the same responsibility for taking care of our members that we do, even if they move outside of the peninsula. And that's called portability. Our benefits are portable.
So basically, like here, if they're here, they can call them and say, I need a doctor for podiatry. Well, they'll look it up and find a doctor that's within their network and so forth here in the States. When they decide to move to California, they still have the program and they can call that care coordinator here in Virginia, in Williamsburg, and say, I need a podiatry to serve me in California now. Well, now that care provider here will look up in California that specific podiatry that's in their network and set up the appointment and help with that coordination. So the same thing is just now being able to be carried. So it does stay with them. That's kind of just a good way of explaining it. Hope that helps.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Question.
Anybody else have any questions for Miss Cynthia?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't see any more hands or emojis or reactions, and no hands raising up. So if Cynthia, if you could stop sharing, that would be amazing.
Do it.
You have, okay, I was going to say, you have to stop sharing. And I will, go ahead, Cynthia.
Would you like me to jump off the call so you guys can finish up?
No, we're just going to finish up now. I'm just going to stop recording.